I think that God wanted to make Abraham and Sarah and Isaac and Rebekah to wait that long because he wanted to build their faith and also make them learn how to lean and trust in him completely instead of relying on their human efforts. I also think he wanted them to know how mighty and powerful he is as the creator, and let them understand that he's a powerful God who does things in his own time and not at the time that he's expected to do it. Faith, as we read in Hebrews chapter 11 verse 1, it is the assurance of things hoped for and the conviction of things not seen. It provides the strength needed to endure periods of delay without losing hope in God's promises for us. And waiting is where God reshapes our hearts and deepens our confidence and trust in him. God wants us to actively trust him in the period of our waiting and draw closer to him. Waiting can increase our faith and trust in God, because during this time we get to understand that God's promises, though may tarry, will be fulfilled in his own time in our lives. A time in my life that I had to wait on God for something that I wanted was when I applied for a job. There was this job that I had applied for and I thought I was overly qualified for it. But I think God wanted to teach me humility. I did not get a job at the time that I thought I was going to get it. While I was applying for this job, I thought, as soon as the application went through, that I was going to be called. But when it turned out that I wasn't called, after a while, I got to understand that I shouldn't rely on my human efforts. I should learn to always put God in everything that I do. That period of waiting for me was quite depressing, because at this time I didn't like the other job that I was doing. So when I saw the opportunity to apply for this one and I knew I was qualified for it, I was so confident that I was going to get it. But eventually I wasn't called for the job. It made me to understand that God is the one that makes things to happen in his own time, that maybe that wasn't the time for me to get that job. And it also built my trust more in God, because I began to look back on the promises of God that he had fulfilled in the lives of other people, and applied it to myself. And I began to understand that God's will for us might not even be what we wish for ourselves. But that period was tough, because I learned how, and eventually I learned how to put my hope and my trust completely on God and not on my human efforts. It made me to realize that even if we think we are qualified for something, we may not get it because it is not God's wish for us. Yeah. And although eventually a breakthrough happened for me, and I got to know that, okay, maybe it was because I surrendered to God that he made it to happen for me.